So thanks so much for having me. Super excited to be here. Usually I would do that in front of a crowd. Right now it's a little bit different this year. So for the first time, for me at least, remote being a speaker. Thanks so much. Looking forward to sharing a few insights and real use case studies from our customers with you, because I think it's super important to not only talk about, hey, what's technology capable of, but really showing you how it's being used right now. Okay, great. So first of all, a beautiful picture of mine. Really important for you guys. Richard already did the introduction. So I'm working at eBot7 for a little bit more than 2 years. Have been working with enterprise customers as well as mid-sized customers quite a bit. And yeah, really interesting to see the company grow. Since I arrived, 8 times the people have joined the company. So super exciting to be part of such a growth journey at eBot7. So let's talk a bit about why chatbots are needed at all. So 10 years ago or 15 years ago, customer service was appreciated. Today it's expected. So what does that mean? 10 years ago, you might walk into a shop and you were hoping that a sales rep will help you, a customer service agent. You would get on a phone line, wait a few years in line. Today that's different. Today customers expect to get service and information when they need it on the channels that they want, and they want it personalized, if possible, self-service. So that poses a huge challenge to companies. Why is that such a challenge, and why does it have such an impact? Well, 82% of consumers have stopped doing business with a company because of bad customer service. I think we all have a situation in mind where we're like, oh yeah, that one experience with this provider made me switch the company I'm paying. I have my bank in mind, which I can't reach during normal business hours. I have my insurance in mind, where I say, okay, great, me writing you a letter, that's not going to work for me, for Mark Dembo, being a digital native, being digital first. So this is super important. The need is there. However, it imposes a huge difficulty on companies, because not all customers want service close to in real time, personalized from their homes, from wherever they are. This means like lots of resources are needed, right? So that's where basically automation comes in. So Everest Group published this in 3 to 5 years time. 85% of all online customer interactions will be handled without human interaction. That's a bold statement right there, but it makes sense, because how else would you be always available, being able to serve during peak times when business is interrupted perhaps? There is no way around automation. And this is why eBot7 exists. So let me talk a little bit about the company, and then also how we enable our customers to build those seamless AI solutions that really satisfy our customers, where both the company as well as the consumer profit. So what do we actually do, and why we built eBot7 and how we help our customers? Well, first we start talking to them. We talk to them what their pain points are, what they identify as their customers' need, what they want to achieve. Is it provide better services? Is provide the same level of service at lower cost? We talk about different use cases that might make sense. Is it typical first level support, second level support? Is it perhaps lead generation? Is it applicant management? All that is possible. So first what we do is we talk to our customers, because no solution fits all. It has to be tailor-made, it has to be customized, it has to fit the brand, it has to fit the use case. Second of all, we really go through the different use cases that might be possible. If that's a large enterprise, there are tens or even 100 of different things you could do. And we, with our experience that we already have from the customers that are happy with us, where we have the KPIs, we can measure it, we use that knowledge, and then we say, okay, together, let's identify the best use cases for conversational AI and optimize how you interact with customers, whether that's through automated workflows and processes, whether that's through agent interaction, that's AI assistant, all this kind of stuff. Then we make sure that this all works with your existing IT landscape. And that's really important, right? As soon as you want to deliver some kind of self-service functionality, some kind of personalization, you need some kind of integration. A chatbot in its isolated environment, that's great already. It can help, but a chatbot that's integrated with your systems that can pull and push data, now that's powerful. That's a game changer right there. Once we made sure that this works, talking basically with guys like me and the sales engineering team, the solutions team, we go and we train your team. So most companies right now, yes, they have kind of experience with customer service for sure. Do they have experience with chat? Some of them, yes, some of them not. Do they have experience with AI and NLP? Most likely not. So it's really important for us that we enable our customers, that we not just give them a tool and say, here you go, figure it out by yourself. No, of course, we enable our customers, because you can only trust the system if you understand the system to some extent, right? And then, of course, we monitor the ongoing projects and we make sure that you hit your goals, your KPIs that you defined in the beginning. So this is usually how we do it. So this was it basically from a, I would say, solution point of view. But let's talk a little bit about our technology right there. So we have a few key features right there. So first of all, we believe in hybrid AI. So what does that mean? The bot tries to automate what it can, what it has knowledge in, what it does know. And if the bot says, you know what, I've not been trained for this, I've not seen enough data to answer this one, I got to pass over to my human agent, and I can still assist that human agent by giving smart recommendations. So this is super powerful, because we all know how painful it might be if you're talking to Siri and Siri just says, I'm sorry, I didn't get you. Could you rephrase your question? You do that 3 times, and then you say, okay, thanks for nothing. This is not working out for me. Of course, you have to provide better experiences to your customers, to your consumers. So that's why we're going for that hybrid approach. Then we're getting tons of praises from really customer support agents that are using our software. And they're saying, okay, your UX makes it so seamless to just be quick and respond in a really professional and high quality way in a workflow that makes sense in 2020, you know? And then third of all, we have a process automator. So that's like a editor. Basically, it's a graphical user face for Graph Builder, where you can just basically translate your business processes into conversations, make backend API integrations, turn off of self-service on all this kind of stuff. And then last but not least, of course, we want to be where the customer is, right? So we cannot just say, hey, if you're on the web page, that's great. But also we have to be where the consumer is at. So we integrate with WhatsApp, we integrate with Facebook, web chat, SMS, and so on and so forth, right? So we are omni-channel aggregator. Really important for us is this: easy to implement. If there's one thing I would push for in the whole chatbot industry, is make this stuff easy to implement. Why? We want a chatbot, if possible, to be owned by the business owners who know the processes best, who know the customer best, who know the daily business best. And for this means that this has to be low code or no code, that you can test and experiment pretty much seamlessly in no time. So this is super important. We want our customers to go live quickly without months of pre-training, without building their own wrapper around an API or something like that. We want them to sign a contract, get their user accounts, start with what they already have, so upload the FAQ or whatever, and then let the magic happen, go from there. Of course, it's important that we have integrations to backend systems, so we do the same in the backend right there. Cool. I think Richard already mentioned that. Yeah, we have a few customers, a lot of customers, to be honest. Super exciting names right there, mostly in the DACH region, as we are originally from Germany, but we are quite ambitious. We are growing quite fast. So we're talking 2x, 3x year by year. So you see basically different industries. So going from insurance here, car companies, you see TMT companies, you see a football club in here. So all of that working out right there. Most of the companies being enterprises, but we also cater to SME markets right there, as our solution is really easy to implement right there. Cool. So that was eBot 7 in a nutshell. What I want to share with you, and that really excites me, gonna be honest, that's the exciting part of my presentation. I don't want to take away from the first part, but you know what? I've been part of those implementation processes from the sales pitch, and I've seen those live now for months. So I want to share with you like 2 different use cases, okay? So first of all is Deutsche Bahn. Deutsche Bahn is the biggest German railway company. I think they own something like 99% of the market. It used to be state-owned. Yeah, so as you can imagine, well, they have a lot of traffic, and they had a lot of different customer inquiries. So we started out with their chatbot named Kai, like a short German name, and that's really interesting. So they started out, they started basically with the live chat, so close to zero knowledge initially. They had the branding going, they had this CI/CD going, obviously, so that's working out right there. And then they say, okay, cool, we have a lot of agents. Whatever the chatbot can't answer, we'll train it, you know? Right now, they have the answer to over 3,000 questions in that chatbot. Of course, that's a real extreme example of a really, really big enterprise. And they have an automation rate of 69%. Now, that's crazy if you ask me. The average handling time for chat was reduced by 90% from start of the project to now, which I think are 2 really impressive KPIs. For me, what's the most impressive is that they really understand the power of AI as they were trained that way. So let me give you a little bit of background. So we have different operating modes for our bots. So let's say you have a normal online mode where everything is perfect. And then you can already prepare if you have an incident, and that happens to companies from time to time, like an incident mode where the chatbot might react differently. So as this is a railway company, they had a storm mode where every time there is a storm, the bot would already need its greeting, say, hey, be aware, there might be disruptions to our train schedule. Check for more information here. And then basically the user will be a little bit restricted in what they can input and cannot, because everyone who's asking, I don't know, for timetables or whatever, they would be, okay, seriously, let's deflect that traffic right away in the greeting and make sure that our agents can take care of the other stuff. And they're not flooded as our hotlines are during such an incident. So they prepared that already. And then in March, lockdown happened in Germany, right? So that was a game changer. Within the less of 6 business hours, Kai was completely Corona updated. They were able to basically take that peak traffic, because their traffic, I cannot share the exact numbers, but you can imagine what happens when all the transportation network, basically everyone wants to cancel their train tickets. Everyone wants to know about refunds. Everyone wants to know, is my train running? Is it not running if I'm still out there? Hotlines were flooded. Everything was basically crazy. And they were like, okay, cool. Let's take the existing chatbot. Let's create a Corona mode, a COVID mode. They built that. They put in the links to the right pages. They put in content pieces that were communicated, and they went and they had great success with that, taking away such a large amount of traffic right there. And this is what really excites me, because they understood the power of this, right? They understood, okay, this technology, we don't have to go to 3 IT departments, make change requests, pre-train new models for Corona terms. No, not with eBot 7. We just edit the content and we go live, we try it out. If there's something missing, we edit in training through our agents, and we can utilize that hybrid model, but also make sure that we basically deflect as many requests in self-service as can be, right? And I think that's super exciting. One of my favorite use cases I've seen so far, because I think that really provided so much value to both consumers, which just wanted answers. Okay, how can I refund my ticket? What are the terms and conditions? Is my train running? And they got the answer right away. They got it within seconds. And that's powerful, even though that information was brand new. So I think super exciting from my end. First use case, Deutsche Bahn. Second use case, and this one is really interesting for a different reason. Roland Assistance. It's a rather unknown company. It's basically a B2B service provider to insurance companies. So what they offer is roadside assistance. So just imagine your car breaks down and you want to call your roadside assistance. You're insured with your insurance company or one of the large automotive clubs. You get a number and you call that number. The person you're talking to most likely is Roland Assistance or one of their competitors, but they have a huge market share right there. But they basically do this as white label, so you might not know them. But they're huge, I can tell you. And what they did is we talked to them and they said, you know what, we have the following pain point. And this is why I think it's so important to talk to customers. They say, you know what, so first of all, I'm like taking care of those kind of calls, like people calling for a roadside assistance on the phone. That's super expensive, first of all. And second of all, you know what? It's such a pain for the end customers as well as us to figure out the location. And they were like, you know what? I can text my friend, my dad, my mom, my location easily on WhatsApp, but I can't do that over phone. Like I have customers on the phone for 20 minutes while they try to figure out where on the country road they are. If they were on a chat and we could share the location, wouldn't that benefit everyone? And I was like, absolutely. So let's do that. So what did we do? We took their IVR, so basically their hotline, and we said, you know what? The current waiting time is X minutes. If you basically want to chat now, there's not a waiting time at all. And we basically said, great, press 1 if you want to chat. Customers pressed 1. And then we figured out 30% of customers waiting in hotline decided to say, yes, I will, instead of waiting 5 minutes, I will chat now. 30% of people deflected from the hotline. I don't know how many of you are in the customer contact business, but that's a huge number and that's a cost saving. That's powerful. So cost saving number 1, deflecting to chats. Then we sent a text message to the customers and said, okay, click here to start a chat. And as we know where this message was sent from the hotline, we could already start saying, hey, seems like you need help and you had an issue with your car. Is that correct? And we would basically have a structured dialogue where we'd ask the customer all the information that we would ask on the phone. Hey, how can we contact you? Where, like, what's your insurance provider? And what's your license plate? All this kind of stuff. And then the powerful move. And we said, okay, now we need your location. Do you want to share your location with us? And if the customer pressed yes, bam, there we got it. The live location as you know it from your smartphone. And we could translate basically in GPS coordinates for the people in the back end making the call to the roadside assistance. So not only did we basically automate part of the process, we made the process more efficient for both ends, both for the end customers, because they were like, okay, cool, I can easily share my location, as well as the people in the back office having to call the roadside assistance, basically because they had exact GPS coordinates. You might wonder, okay, what happened if the phone doesn't have GPS? Yes, we had a fallback where you could enter your position in free text or street address, all this kind of stuff. So we thought about that. But I think this is so powerful. If you understand, okay, cool. Yes, chatbots, text, voice, super powerful. But then also adding rich media, now that's really interesting. And we see this with different industries quite a bit. We see this in this case, roadside assistance, where location is key. We see that with insurance providers, where claims can be automated with sending pictures in real time. We see that with forms being exchanged, PDFs, you sign it, you send it back to me, done. No letters needing to be exchanged, nothing. So those are really use cases that I find really, really interesting. Super happy that I could share those with you. Really excited to be here. I see a question or something in the Q&A section. But first of all, thanks a lot for your attention. If you want, take your smartphone, scan the QR code. It will redirect you to my LinkedIn profile. So nothing to share, like no scam, no nothing. You won't be signed up for our newsletter automatically. And yeah, looking forward to your questions.